Against me shall prosper. January boy, remix money.
Hail Mary, full of grace. Hail Mary, full of grace. Hail Mary, full of grace. I swear that's what she said. Shawty looking at me, she's a flirt. All night creeper, let her know I put in work, but it's something I gotta teach her. Bust it open, bring it back, I'll be ready to attack. Got an automatic weapon, it go plat. She's a wifey in the street, sweet like a dove. Key in her ignition, now she rolling with a dog. She know that I keep her strong, and you know where I'm from. It's that Chi-Town boy, and I got these honeys speaking in tongues. In tongues. In tongues. In tongues. I got them all speaking in tongues.
She be like, ludicrous, don't nobody give it to me like you do. I cast a spell on them. They be think I'm doing voodoo. Can't understand the words you saying. You need a translator. I aim before I shoot, then I assassinate her. She be catching that Holy Ghost. She had a loss for words. Said she really wanna wet the fabric, so I'm a softened nerd. Was a good girl when I met her, and she was so pure. Now I got her in the back room talking about Hanam Harenge cure. That's what you get when you messing with the boys in the hood that's from the South. We be like, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? She got just what she wanted, and she know I'm home. I guess that's why it seems
I got these honeys speaking in tongues. In tongues. In tongues. In tongues. I got them all speaking. She was 6 days a week. Get off on a Sunday, come over late at night and then I eat it like a Sunday. She know that I'm a heavyweight, more money than collection play. She tired and she sliding on me like a tidal wave. I mean, shawty's so fine, you need to pray for her. She yelling, but I don't know what she's saying. She's speaking languages that I ain't never heard. Call her Dirty Diana, man, the way she make it jerk. She know that I keep her strong, and you know where I'm from. It's that Chi-Town boy, and I got these honeys speaking in tongues. In tongues. In tongues. In tongues. I got them all speaking in. Shout it what you say. Shout it what you say. Shout it what you say. Shout it what you say.
Yo, can I with you? What?
ACT, you see this?
Look, if it ain't official DanaJay, Levi for Kelly, or Prima Donna News, I don't even want to see it. Take the phone. Look, you got some weed? I gotta get some. All right, hurry up. Diesel and them here, everybody here. We waiting on you. All right.
But I know that there's more. More for you, more for us.
DJ discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
DJ discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
DJ discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
Say you love it, what you gon' do now? Hope you're ready, cause I'm really about to put it down. Girl, you know that I will never disrespect you. We love tomorrow, but tonight I wanna spank you. That ass down, gotta make it last now. Spread out so thin, I'ma beat it up. Oh!
She's a She's everything to me. There ain't nothing she won't do for me. And every man wants a girl like her. No price compares to what she's worth. She saved my life in so many ways. Cause when darkness comes, she's my break of day. And I know I'm blessed for what I got. Yeah. But still I can't seem to tie that knot. Somebody help me. How do I tell my girl that something came up in the plans has changed? How do I tell my girl that I'm not gonna be able to make it, I'm going away? Tell me how do I tell my girl that I'm sorry baby, but I just can't? Tell me how do I look her in her face and have the nerve to say that I'm not ready on our wedding day? Now we have both been together since our roaring high school days. We done walked through all kind of stormy weather, and we have both shared each other's pain. No one could ever come between us two. And I bet my breath that things would never ever change. Now this world of marriage we vowed to, all of a sudden seems so strange. Somebody help me, yeah. How do I tell my girl that something came up in the plans has changed? How do I tell her? How do I tell my girl, yeah, that I'm not gonna be able to make it, I'm going away? How do I tell my girl that I'm sorry, baby, but I just can't. I can't. No. Tell me, how do I look her in the face? Baby, have the nerve to say I'm not ready on my wedding day. My mother know my mother, and it's all good. My brother know her brother. We all grew up in the hood. Her cousins school with my cousins. All of our friends, grandma friends, high school, I led the same way. It's supposed to be a family, but we ain't no patience under her and me. Yeah. And I never meant to go and waste her time or ruin her life. I got a bad case of butterflies. Somebody help me. Tell me. How do I tell my girl? How do I tell my girl? Something came up in the plans has changed. Something has changed within me. How do I tell my girl? How do? And I'm not gonna be able to make it going away. How do I tell my girl? How do I tell her? That I'm sorry, baby, but I just can't. I just can't. No. Tell me, how do I look her in the face? Have the nerve to say I'm not ready on my wedding day. How do I tell my girl? Man, this is the worst. Something came up in the plans last that I ever had to do. How do I tell? But I know that she don't deserve it. I'm not gonna be able to make it. I'm going so confused. How do I tell my girl that I'm sorry, baby, but I just make a decision right now? Tell me, how do I look her in the face and have the nerve to say that I'm not ready on our wedding day?
Dream Team, what's going on? Y'all see what's going on? Y'all see what I got up there? Wait a minute. The desperation effect. Already. Happy New Year, everybody. We 1 day into the new year, and the stupid people got to start already. You know what I mean? Your back is broad. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm hitting them push-ups, man. You know what I mean? You know what I'm doing? I'm back in the gym. I'm getting it back. Now I'm about to get in the pool on Tuesday. Oh my God, get back in the pool on Tuesday. What up, Malik? Happy New Year, everybody. But y'all know why I'm here, right? I was gonna wait till tomorrow to bring this, but now I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna start it today because I got a lot to do. Before we go forward any further, I understand that there's a bunch of new people who don't know what the hell is going on. And then I sit back and I listen to an old lady on One Crap Shoot page. And I'm listening like, this lady don't know me. But she got all this negative energy to say. So what I did was I hit One Crap link. I hit the link. Unfortunately, she won't let me up to defend myself because I'm ready to confront anybody. I don't care. So what I did was I put my link and the calling number up at the top of the chat box. Okay. So what I understand is people grabbing for straws and don't know shit. So the first thing I'm going to say is when it comes to, hold on. I got to get that print out the way. Hold on. When it comes to, all right, there it is. There it is. All right. When it comes to Big Bird, to my right there. When it comes to Big Bird, she put herself in this position. I told her, do not intertwine yourself in this 3.5 years ago. You know what I mean? She got a body shape of a bag of frozen peas. Right. When I told her don't enter herself into this 3.5 years ago, I gave fair warning. Because what people don't understand is when you dealing with people like the Savages, when you dealing with the Clarys, when you dealing with Dominique Mom and Geronda, that's one level that you're dealing with. But what you have to understand is there's another level of wickedness with Cheryl Mack and all of them. And what everybody is saying is, oh, surviving R. Kelly. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I need some people to answer these questions for me. If surviving R. Kelly was about underage girls, why is a 45-year-old woman the spokesperson of surviving R. Kelly? 1 and 2 and 3. Because 3 flopped. So the one coming out now in this final chapter, so they making that 3. Because they want y'all to forget about the one that flopped. So instead of getting on your channels and talking about me, you need to be talking about what's going on. That's why I titled it The Desperation Effect. And this is what it's going to be for the whole time. Because everybody was desperate to grab this man's money. Now, I sat back and I listened to a person that's cool with me, Larry. I listened to, he say, I'm going to go hard on R. Kelly like I never went hard before. Well, R. Kelly got a defense mechanism called DanaJay. And I told Levi, I said, well, if Larry going to go that route, we going back to day one. We going back to day one. Because I'm going to defend this man no matter what. But now the problem is I got all type of ammunition of not just the little stuff that I had at first, but everybody now. I don't think they want to do that. I don't think they want to do that. Now, what Larry chooses to do, that's what he do. That's his platform. He his own person. We cool outside of R. Kelly. Dealing with R. Kelly, we are enemies. But we ain't the type of enemies that's going to do retarded shit. Yeah, we threaten each other. Yeah, we got there. Yeah, it was going to get serious. But we both men. Larry ain't never crossed that line with me, and I ain't never crossed it with him. I mean, cross that line. Like some of these people that say, oh, I'm for R. Kelly, when you clearly not. So while people talking about, oh, this and this and this and this, I'm going to prove to these people that they don't know shit. Okay? First question I have, where did surviving R. Kelly start? You know what they told me? It started with Geronda. It started with the Clarys. It started with the Savages. You're wrong. It didn't start there. It started with stupid people it started with stupid people like One Crack Seuss and people that just want credit like the Walrus, aka James Earl Jones. They took stories from a person like Cheryl Mack. Like I told y'all, surviving R. Kelly, that's where it was supposed. That's where it started. She was the original person who proposed a memoir to Lifetime. She the one that got the companies. And you got to look at it. Who had access to other companies that wanted to work with Rob? It wasn't Diana Copeland. It was Cheryl Mizzy Mack, aka London on the Track Mama. Think about it. You ain't never hear about R. Kelly messing with boys until Cheryl Mack put out there after she met with Barry Hankerson that Robert wanted to mess with her son, London, on the track. That one little joke that she made famous turned into what? Now he messed with boys. He crawling from under boxing rings and this and that. This is what I mean. I'm trying to tell y'all what's going on. So while people sitting over one stink puss talking about some, oh, is that true? And they got this lying ass old ass lady from Sesame Street on there talking that don't know what the fuck she talking about. They can't give you what you get. What they can't give you what you can get over here. This is to the new people. Now I'm talking to y'all new people. Because all the old folks know where to go and get the real stuff from. I gave you over 2,000 lives of truth. Lives, L-I-V-E-S, of truth. And I find it funny that everybody that's trying to speak out against me now came from me. I get it. When you think you got enough juice to overtake your successor, that's what you do. You try to win, but you can't win. Because and a great successor never give everything. Dre, what up, bro? So one thing I'm going to say, Dre, I'm going to send you what I told you I'm going to send you. As soon as I finish this live, I'm going to send it to you. I want you to break that down. Because you're going to be like, what? Wait till I send it to you. So, and I'm glad Dre in here. Because not only do you see people that deals with Rob, that dealt with Rob, that was around Rob all the time. They're here. And you won't see Hits Digital Radio. Oh, and by the way, a plug. Go like, share, subscribe, and share Hits Digital Radio out. We need him to go live more than one time a day. We need Dre to go live every day. So the only way he can go live is if y'all helping him with his numbers. Get his numbers up. Get his numbers up. If y'all want to know exactly who I'm talking about, hold on. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put him up there. Hold on. You know what I mean? And one thing I love about what up, Taylor? Hey, Jeff, don't go nowhere, man. But the link is up. I'm gonna need you to get on there, bro, because we got to do this thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's time to put the band back together. The true band for R. Kelly have been disbanded for a while. Time to put the real band back together. You know what I mean? Back when it was no beefing, back when everybody was putting things together, staying up all night brainstorming and stuff like that. Man, look, it's a new year. And my bro Jeffrey Taylor, we was on it. Yeah, I got caught up in the crazy stuff, and Jeffrey tell me, Dana, don't do it. This way you need to go like, share, subscribe to Hits Digital Radio. That's Dre, one of the founding members of Public Announcement. Go get his numbers up. Like, share, subscribe. And people got mad at him because he wouldn't go along with the buffoonery. That's not what he do. He's a grown-ass man. So let's go here. And after I read this, let's have an open panel. Let's get the brothers, the sisters. If you care about Rob, when I finish, call in or hit that link. We get on and we talk about this. The setup of Robert Kelly, the original memoir that was submitted to the cast of Surviving R. Kelly. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Cheryl Mack said, hold on. During my term with Robert Kelly as a friend and as an employee, I witnessed sex, hostility, snatching, grabbing, groping, drugs, alcohol, and bipolar behavior, all from a man who could write a record better than he could spell his name. Stop. That introduction is going to grab you right there. She said, during my term with Robert Kelly as a friend and as employee, I witnessed sex, hostility, snatching, grabbing, groping, drugs, alcohol, and bipolar behavior, all from a man who could write a record better than he can spell his name. Then she said, I began my journey with Robert professionally in August of 2005. Prior to that, there was just cordial conversation. My first visit to Robert's studio was in 2005 with my artist, Sherry Hawk, who now travels as background vocalist for Tamia. Robert invited Sherry and I to his Chocolate Factory studio, located in the basement of his Olympia Fields, Illinois home, foreclosed 2013. We arrived there with the intent to play music and get direction, but we ended up there for days in the studio with Robert at his request. Watching him create, there were numerous girls of all ages in and out of the studio at all times. Some waited for hours and some came right in and were introduced and would ultimately disappear. There were many. All of them were very, very young. Sherry, in her early 30s at the time, didn't seem of interest to Robert, but he loved her voice and said he was very impressed with me as her manager and wanted to give her a shot at recording records for other projects. She recorded several records, and one of which he actually selected for his album Double Up. The album did very well. We saw credits, but there was $0 compensation. Sherry was featured on the album singing duet alongside Robert titled Having a Baby. Stop. Stop. Red flags every goddamn well. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, if you are a manager and if your artist is in her 30s and you see very, very young girls come in, why are you going to continue to work with a man that you don't even have a clear-cut relationship with? Let's make it make sense. If you don't have a clear-cut relationship with him and your artist in the 30s, that means you in your 40s, then why are you still there? Second thing, you said you seen him come and disappear. So here's my question. If you seen them come and disappear, where did they disappear to? Why were they introduced? Make it make sense. Why were they introduced? My next thing is, I'm going to ask this question. Anybody that been to court in New York, right? You'll understand the middle part of the trial was this memoir right here. I just wanted to see if people was going to be paying attention. But the middle part of the trial in New York was this memoir. As I told y'all, it was going to be because the feds felt as though he didn't have a defense for this. So, you know, ultimately they're going to say, well, Dana, how did you know that this was going to be there? How? Well, let's go here. When you look at the paperwork and you read the paperwork and not have Google read it for you, or not have somebody else read it for you, or not have actors read it for you, but when you legitimately read the paperwork, you see where certain stuff going. And if you was around during that time, or if you know somebody that's around on that time and you was at school, then guess what? You can put 2 and 2 together. What up, Charlotte? And then when you get to court, after reading the memoir, you can be like, oh, this where they got that from. This where they got that from. But let's take it a secret. Let me unleash a secret. I sent this memoir to Canic. I broke the memoir down in 4 different avenues to Canic. From what I was told, it was intercepted and they used what the Warriors gave them. Okay, if they would have used this, it would have destroyed Cheryl Mack's testimony. Because Cheryl Mack's testimony, she lied about this part right here. That's all you got to do is make them a liar. So while people sitting back trying to do things and talking about, oh, Dana said I did this, I did that. No, for a long time, I didn't say nothing. But when you see somebody who don't know nothing and that's all they want is credit, now you got to break down the barriers and let people know, like, okay, where this really came from. And no, I don't want no credit. I'll get my credit when Robert walk out them doors. When they say Robert is free and the case is overturned, that's all the credit I need right there, is to see him walk out. I don't need YouTube credit. Only thing I ask you to do is like, share, subscribe. That's all I ask you to do. And hit the Cash App if you feel as though I deserve a Cash App. But I'm not demanding. Let's move on. She said Robert never possessed any further activity with Sherry after that, and said he wasn't going to make the song a single, so Sherry lost interest and moved on with other supporting act opportunities with Brandy, Kelly Price, and ultimately made her home with Tamia. Sherry and I parted ways. And I continue Sherry and I parted ways. And I continue my working relationship with Robert. Stop. Red flag again. If Robert told your artist he wasn't going to make it a single, and your artist went on to sing backup for Brandy, Kelly Price, and ultimately made a home with Tamia, why would you let your artist go to do work with Robert Sylvester Kelly if you say he had very, very young girls running around and you didn't like that? See, here's the lies. Here's the lies. So then she said, Sherry and I parted ways, and I continue my working relationship with Robert. During the early visits with Robert, I was introduced to his staff of engineers, and I became a staple piece. He referred to me as his sister. That's why I tell you, people, be careful who you give labels and titles to. Everybody ain't your friend. And listen, I learned the hard way. So now I look at everybody as this way. Why do you want to be close to me? a few apples spoiled the bunch for everybody. So now, in order to be called my sis or fam, you got to go through something with me. And if we go through it together and I see you solid, then guess what? You earned your stripes. Other than that, I don't know you. You just an associate. So then she say, I met Robert's kids on the first visit to his home. He seemed very close to the relationship with Joanne, his oldest daughter. Wow. So that debunks a lie that they said that he wasn't close with Joanne, his daughter. Cheryl Mack said there was a very close relationship with Joanne, his oldest daughter, 16. Joanne was around more than Jaya and Robert Jr. She was a dancer and always danced at Robert's request for his guests. It was uncomfortable. There was one late night party, and Robert had her dancing on a pool table for his guests. There were older men present, mostly staff. This was awkward. He cheered her on, and it seemed as if the guys were afraid to clap or even look at her. She was young, and it was inappropriate. When you listen to that, it's definitely some parts of the story that's left out. Now, the question is, why would Rob have his daughter dancing unless it was something else going on and it wasn't no craziness? Now, watch this. Here's where the feds got the names of the engineers from. Out the memoir, Cheryl Mack said, Robert made sure that everyone knew my name. Jeff the engineer, Abel Garibaldi, the in-house engineer, Ian Murness, also the house engineer, Donnie Lau, music producer, ran the studio. The studio was open around the clock, and Robert recorded after midnight and into the mornings every day. His days began around 4 p.m. with him making rounds with his guests and ultimately ending in the studio. I was always invited to every event, costume parties, dinners, house parties, and themes. 5-star parties, as they were called. I was there for video shoots and actually appeared in videos. This was never a paid opportunity with Robert. Stop. If y'all not seeing why I'm stopping and giving y'all the red flags, there's something wrong. Every other point that she get in her paragraph, what do it have to deal with? Payment. It's always a payment with her. And when she didn't get paid, here come the bullshit afterwards. So she said this was never a paid opportunity with Robert. Our agreement was that if I found an artist opportunity, I would bring it to him first. During that time, I never felt fear of Robert. It was a simple understanding. So wait, why did you go to New York and say you was fearful of Robert? If you never felt fear of Robert, why did you go to New York and say you was fearful of Robert? Hey, Gospel Glam, make this make sense. Let's get them likes up, y'all. I worked a corporate job by day and traveled to Chicago on weekends. I traveled at my own expense and did so for several years. I introduced Robert to an artist that I began working with out of Atlanta, Dawn. I was shopping her project and getting interest when I played her music for Robert. Robert requested pictures and video of Dawn. When I showed that to him, after loving her voice, he invited her out at his expense. Dawn was early 20s at the time. When I flew her out, wait a minute. I thought you said Robert. Hold on. Let's back something up. Time out. Robert requested pictures and video of Dawn. When I showed that to him after loving her voice, he invited her out at his expense. Then she gave a breakdown. Dawn was early 20s at the time. Okay, so that debunks the pedophile narrative, because a pedophile don't want nothing over the age of 12 to 14. No, I'm sorry, 10 to 12. I mean 12 and under. I'm sorry, 12 and under. That's what they say a pedophile is, a person that likes people 12 and under. Well, she was in her early 20s. And at this time, Robert was in his late 20s. No, mid 20s. So how is he a pedophile, and how do he, how do he prey on underage women or underage girls when we clearly see Dawn was in her early 20s? Make this make sense. Then Cheryl Mack said, when I flew her out. Wait a minute. When I flew her out. First you said Rob flew her out. Now you switched it and said, when you flew her out, she brought a girlfriend with her, Angie. Stop. Why is your artist bringing anybody else with her? The guidelines, the ground rules are broken at this point. If I'm telling you to bring your artist out, she don't bring nobody else. So here's the question. Who paid for the girlfriend? Who paid for the girlfriend? Cheryl Mack, you left that out. But you went on to say Robert met Dawn, loved her, and invited her repeatedly then, without me. Uh-oh. So it sounds like you was cut out the deal, so you getting bitter by the moment. He said, ultimately, after a few more visits for parties and no studio time ever, Dawn stopped visiting Robert. 9 times out of 10, Robert smashed Dawn. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Hold on. Then you say this all went on for a while. In 2009, I began working with a female artist, Precious Way. Precious was 17, originally from Chicago and living in Atlanta at the time. Precious was very excited about me as her manager. And when I told her and her mother that I had a great relationship with Robert, they both wanted to meet him and showcase Precious' music. That was an easy task. I called Robert and told him about Precious, and he invited her and her mom out to Olympia Field. Stop. If you claiming he backstabbed you and did you wrong with Dawn, why would you go and get somebody else and bring them out there to him? This is not making sense. This right here is making him look like a goddamn monster. I forgot. That's what y'all intended for him to look like in front of Surviving R. Kelly, on Surviving R. Kelly in front of the world, right? So, Cheryl Mack said, I covered the costs of air and hotel for all of us. Stop. Cheryl Mack, if you covered the cost for Precious Way and her mama and for you, who covered the cost for Dawn's girlfriend? Let's go there. Who covered the cost for Don's girlfriend? Then you said, when we arrived in Chicago, we were invited to the home where there was a get-together. There was a basketball game on the court at his home, and the bar was open on the lawn. Precious and her mom, who are both Chicago fans of Robert's, that never even came close to meeting him. It was beyond their wildest dreams. Robert was very cordial and respectful that night. We were his special guests. He seemed smitten with Precious. She was young, and this hadn't happened at this point in my presence during my stint with Robert. Mind you, Precious was 17, right? Robert was like 25, 26 at this time in 2009. He was like 25, 26, I believe. I want to make sure that was the right age. In 2009, do anybody, can somebody tell me how the exact age of Robert Kelly in 2009? Because I'm not even trying to break all that down like that. I need to get it quick. Because I can easily do it with no problem. I just want to see who's on their toes. Somebody said 42. Somebody said 39. Okay. So let's go there. As we looked at the legal age of consent, 17 is legal in Chicago. So there's no 14-year-old. None of that. Now, mind you, this is in 2009. A year after he was exonerated for the crazy trial. Make it make sense. A year after he was exonerated for the crazy trial. Then she said, we were his special guests. He seemed smitten with Precious. She was young, and this hadn't happened at this point in my presence during my stint with Robert. We were invited into his studio, and there we sat, listened to music, and shuffled through pictures from Precious' portfolio. Precious asked, and with Robert's approval, went to the bathroom down the hall. While her mother and I waited in the studio, during their absence, Robert faked a phone call, went to the bathroom, and escorted Precious into his theater room next door to the bathroom. Time out. Time out. For Precious not to know Robert, he's going to fake a phone call, right? Then go to the theater room. No, then go to the bathroom and escort Precious from the bathroom to the theater room next door to the bathroom. And Precious going to be okay. She don't know this man now. But that's going to be okay. Then she said, once he had Precious in the theater room, he locked the door and began his sex act with her. Wait a minute. Cheryl Mack saying that this story happened with Precious. So because Precious wouldn't go along with the federal government, they gave this story to Brittany. See where the storylines are coming from? Just listen. She was a virgin, scared out of her mind that if she didn't allow him to have sex with her, that he would refuse her project and disappoint me in the end. Ain't that the same story that Brittany had? So then she said, in that room, they exchanged phone numbers. Wait a minute. You having sex with somebody that you don't even have the phone number to? I'm lost. In that room, they exchanged phone numbers. And when she returned to the room, she seemed nervous and disengaged. He appeared a few minutes later. We resumed as if the sex trauma never happened. Stop. If the sex trauma happened, Cheryl Mack, why didn't you call the police right then and there? Oh, that's Portia's story too? Wow. So why didn't you call the police right then and there, Cheryl Mack? Because it never happened. Her mother and I were totally in the dark of this happening. So if her mother and you was totally in the dark, how can you tell the story that it happened? Precious and Robert became very close. Stop. Somebody that violates you, you're not going to become close to. You're going to try to get away from them as quickly as possible and as soon as possible and stay away from them. That part right there, Meek, that part right there. Cheryl Mack, you're a liar. Then you said they would talk for hours on the phone and her mother and I were clueless. He told her not to tell me that they were talking offline. So she was so afraid of Robert. This went on for months. Somebody that you're afraid of, you're not going to get close to. You know what? Do I have any real victims that's in here right now? Do I have any real victims right now that's in here? Because I'm just trying to figure out if you are violated, you ain't trying to get close to that person. Or maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. I need to figure out something. Hold on. I'm just trying to figure out something. And then she said he told her not to tell me that they were talking offline. She was so afraid of Robert. This went on for months. Robert ultimately agreed to make this a chocolate factory project. What? And he allowed me to oversee the project. Huh? So the way she wrote this is like Robert agreed to make a sex act, the chocolate factory project. What? So if Robert did something wrong, first of all, why would he make it a project? A world-renowned project, and then put you to oversee the project if he actually did something to hurt your artist? This is not making sense. And then she said Precious took a firm liking to Robert. Whoa, wait a minute. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Precious took a firm liking to somebody that violated her. Who do you think you playing with? A person that don't want to be violated, that don't want to be touched, is not going to like somebody that only violated him allegedly once. Make this make sense. Let's get them likes up, y'all. So then she said, Robert would ultimately put Precious up in a hotel a little less than a mile from his home at the Country Inn Suites in Madison, Illinois. He would extend the room daily to keep her there. What? Robert requested a writer for Precious to get her music going. Oh, wait a minute. Do this kills Azriel narrative? Precious had to be talented. But they say Robert don't want to get nobody else's career started. But he clearly requested a writer for Precious to get her music going. Then she said he allowed me as her manager to oversee the project. You, Cheryl Mack, hired engineers and songwriters for the project. There were times when he would yell at Precious about what she would wear to the studio, and she would cry out of fear. She said that he would beat her at the end of the sessions. We ain't never hear about Robert beating nobody, right? Until Cheryl Mack put in her memoir, she said that he would beat her at the end of the sessions. Now, I've never heard Precious mention Robert beat her at all. Other than she would say, when I talked to her the 3 times that I talked to her, that when they had sex, that he'd spank her butt or spank her on her butt. But what guy don't? What guy don't? Let's do it this way. What guy don't like to see a behind jiggle from the back? That's it. But that's the easiest way I can put it. So then she said he would buy her costumes and make her dress up and videotape her. Here we go. She was forced to wear high heels and tutus with hair bows and lollipops to complete the costume. Now you see where Okove and Team Truth got their narratives from. If Cheryl Mack is giving you this, and when I tell y'all it's genius, but it's stupid at the same time. Because the same way Cheryl Mack did Robert, the walrus and the unfit lady tried to do me. Because people seeing that we was rocking and we was close, oh, the first one to turn and the first one to lie, they got to be telling the truth. Why? Because they seen them together. But none of this was substantiated. Just like none of their claims were substantiated. Then she said, I scouted a writer from Atlanta in January of 2010. Her name is Vonica Andrews. Vonica was an inspiring writer. She was in love with Robert. Wait a minute. Why everybody that you, Cheryl Mack, get is in love with Robert? Make this make sense. Everybody that Cheryl Mack bring around just be in love with Robert. That's a problem for me. Then she say the first day that she met him, he wanted to meet with her without me. He said he wanted to do so because he needed to make sure she was in it for Precious. So if Robert is saying this, the genius part of it had to be, Cheryl, that he peeped you doing janky stuff when it came to Precious. Or I'm going to give you the other side of the coin. Or it could be he didn't want you in Precious affairs. because he knew that you was about money. Now, anytime I'm wrong, y'all please stop me and say I'm wrong. Then she went on and said this was also part of his scheme. He met with her alone, and after the first night, he called me and said, you the shit. She was 19 at the time. Okay, of age. Robert began playing Precious and Vonica against each other until it got to be too much for Precious. Robert had me overseeing the project and proposed a co-management arrangement for both the girls. Stop. Why are you calling them girls? And they both at this time are clearly of age. Red flag again. She said he had me doing all the work and he would come in. No, he had me doing all the work and he would come in at the end of every session to check the progress of Monica's writing and Precious vocals. I hired an engineer by the name of Dwayne. He was also a producer and he was present for every session with the girls. Why you keep calling them girls? And they are adults at this time. Precious was very afraid of Robert. Okay, Precious was very afraid of Robert, but she was always on the phone with him. She was always, and she came liking him and all this stuff. You cannot like somebody that you fear. You cannot like somebody that you fear. Then she said she would almost tear up when she knew that he was on his way to the session. I began to fear what she feared. Stop. But didn't you say you didn't ever have a fear of Robert? So if you never had a fear of Robert, how can you begin to fear what she feared? And how do you know that she feared anything? Because at no point have you ever said in this memoir that Precious Way told you that she feared Robert. Then she said this went on for quite some time, and Robert ultimately stopped her sessions. By now, she was in a Hampton Inn hotel in Madison, Illinois. I was flying in and out of Chicago. The sporadic sessions didn't suit me from a cost perspective. Wait. Why was you flying in and out of Chicago? If your artist is in the studio, you're supposed to stay with your artist. You wasn't supposed to be living your best life. Here we go again. She said there was no money coming in. He wouldn't allow her to work out, leave her room, or even speak or see her mother. Now we see where the lies coming from. I'm pointing it all out to you right here. All the lies are right there. Then you said it got really out of control. Precious, hold on. You said Precious carved my and Joanne's salary as a business manager, as a business management team salary, thus the $10K. The salary was not in place until July 2014. So wait. 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, right? 6 years, right? Now, here comes the question I got for Chicago. The three young ladies that y'all say y'all found Robert, y'all selected Robert guilty on, right? Let's go here. At no time have Cheryl Mack mentioned at no time leading up to right here have Cheryl Mack mentioned Sparkle. She ain't mentioned Roshana, and she ain't mentioned them two other ladies. So if Cheryl Mack ain't mentioned Sparkle, Roshana, and them two other ladies by now, which is July 2014, right here, how can you take any of them other ladies' stories to be credible when they wouldn't even bring Precious Way in trial? Here's my question. If Precious Way wasn't in trial and the feds have that forever reaching power, why didn't y'all want to use her? Because y'all knew she would have debunked y'all goddamn lie. So then Cheryl Mack said, up until that time, I was basically working for free. Wait, so you work in 2009? 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. So you was working 5 years with Robert for free? A woman of your stature, I highly refuse to believe that. Ain't no woman with that type of pull and that type of power and that type of stuff going on going to work for nobody for no 5 years for nothing. That's not going to happen. So then you said hiring and building the company RSK. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You don't see RSK Enterprise. You just see the company RSK. Remember, I told y'all it was two. It was RSK Enterprises, and it was just RSK. Here we go. Now you have RSK Enterprises, which Don Russell had, and you have RSK, which Cheryl Mack had. So then she said Robert received $2 million from a tour booked by Divine and never offered Divine or myself a dime. We talk about a Divine Stevens now. Then she said, I have the bank statement of incoming cash and outgoing expenses. Listen, Robert trusted Cheryl Mack with everything. He didn't think that she was going to start all this stuff to have him ultimately booked and turn on him like this. That's why I always say, be careful with the people around you. Then she said, when things started to become more structured, Robert began to change his attitude towards Divine and I. He began playing us against each other. He would call me and yell at me over the phone and in person for having conversations with Divine or even being cordial with him. He wanted me to believe that Divine was trying to be the artist and that he wasn't really in it for him. Things got out of control. I went through the process of hiring a stylist. The first stylist that I brought in for an interview, he wanted her phone number and wanted to hire the second candidate for work. During this time, he was proposing nights with my 22-year-old niece and my best friend in her 30s. Here we go. He was very aggressive with my niece. Asked me to have her send pictures to his phone and call him. Come by the studio, etc. She refused to do so. Well, isn't that the same story as the young lady that worked at McDonald's? Now you see where all the narratives come from. My best friend had zero interest and thought that it was very disrespectful. Robert began asking me to invite girls to the gym. Stop. Your niece was 22 years old, right? Your best friend was 30 and in her 30s. So how is that a pedophile? How was that a pedophile? Then she said, Robert began asking me to invite girls to the gym where he played basketball. My friends never wanted to come. They actually thought he was disgusting and were intimidated with this aggressive behavior off the court. Stop. Ain't that's what Kitty Jones said? I'm just giving y'all the points. The stylist ultimately hired for the job, Cash Howard, was harassed by Robert. She said on numerous occasions that he asked her for pictures and to not be afraid to be a little girl for daddy. Wow. Every girl calls him daddy. Now y'all see where the narratives are coming from. All these narratives are coming from where? Cheryl Mack's memoir. It was embarrassing. I hired her and it became a styling game of weed, smoking, and heavy use of alcohol. And then ultimately he began to play us against each other. So wait, you hired Cheryl. I mean, you hired Cheryl Mack hired Cash Howard. And then it became a styling game of weed smoking and heavy use of alcohol. Wow. Then she said, I never saw Cash and Robert intimate. I saw text messages, and she often spoke of their sexual phone conversations. She told me that he forced her to watch him have sex with his regular girls, Juice and Bonica. This went on a few times in the lounge at Divine's house. Let me stop right there. Let me kill another narrative. They claim that Divine and Robert was messing with each other, right? So if Divine and Robert was messing with each other, how was Robert able to have sex on a regular with Divine there in Divine's house with Juice and Bonica? Something don't make sense. Where's the lie? Right there. Then she said Robert's employee, Uncle Junebug, was very rude to me after he saw Robert yell and curse me out. Robert would say, you're very smart, but you do stupid stuff. For example, if the guests would fly in at noon and arrive at their hotel and couldn't check in until 3 p.m., he would yell and curse at me and call me stupid and blame me for the hotel rules. I've never seen Robert do that to nobody. But your memoir got to look good. This would happen if flights were delayed, if drivers weren't present at the carousel, if the Uber driver was a male and not a female. Wait, Cheryl Mack, if you are telling this story in your memoir, right? Then how was the Mayweather twins one of the Mayweather twins able to tell this story? I'll wait. Then you said he would yell at me and curse me out in front of Junebug, and Junebug ultimately began to yell and curse at me as Robert did. They would have me running through crowds at shows to make sure that the guests were always in his view at concerts and not near each other. So, time out. First of all, they said his bodyguards did it. Then they said his enablers did it. Then they said people of his entourage did it. Now Cheryl Mack saying she did it. And what's up, Jarrell? Now Cheryl Mack saying she did it. Here's my question. Okay, cool, Tony. How can Cheryl Mack take credit for stuff that other people for stuff that the government is saying that other people did? So far, this memoir make Robert look like an ultimate demon. That's just so far. So then she say he left the stage at a show once and cursed me out because one of the guests moved from one side of the stage to the other, and he saw them close to each other. He said it was my fault. He did this in front of the staff. Junebug had me scared to do my job. He would make me feel as though I didn't work for Mr. Kelly, as he would call him. More so that I worked for him. Robert would make Junebug the boss of everyone and still say, only do what I tell you to do. It was very confused. It was a very confusing, hostile environment. Watch this. Watch this. More girls became a priority. Azriel Clary, an inspiring artist from Orlando. Joycelyn Savage, an inspiring artist from Atlanta. Jodea Johnson, an inspiring model from Atlanta. Christy K.L. Lee, an inspiring artist from Texas. And others were all Robert's new teenage girls. Now you know this is a lie. Because we know Azriel was 17 and 3 months, legal. We know Joycelyn was 19, legal. Judea Johnson was 20, legal. Christy, 19, legal. So how are they new teenage girls? And then you said that I was constantly moving around booking air, ground, and hotel, all with a debit card in my name from his personal Robert S. Kelly SunTrust bank account. Make it make sense. Then she said these girls was making the same criminal when we know they weren't girls. But she said these girls were so young and not travel savvy. It was very difficult creatively moving them around. Watch this. Were they young or were they minors? Being young is not a crime. Being a minor is a crime. And at this time, none of them were minors. Morally, it's wrong. But lawfully, it's legal. And you really can't say morally is wrong because it all depends how you were brought up. Because some of the same people talking about, oh no, he was too old. Your granddaddy was 30 years older than your grandmama. Your aunt is 40 years older than your uncle or your uncle-in-law. A lot of your daddies got kids by your classmates. But you want to single out R. Kelly. Then it says, it was very difficult creatively moving them around. Was it difficult moving them around because they were young or because their parents had never flown them anywhere and they were never exposed to nothing like that? Then she said, Robert never cared about the process or the cost. He wanted to make sure that they got to him as he would request. Hold on. As he would request. Now, this is not in order, I don't think. Then it says, mother was fed up. Robert had by then forced Precious to have an abortion. Wait a minute. But I thought you said Precious' mother didn't know. Now you're saying now you're saying Precious' mother was fed up in this one. But then before you said Precious' mother ain't know. Then you said Robert had by then forced Precious to have an abortion. Ain't that the same story that the media tried to run, that the savages tried to run with Joycelyn? Beat her like a child. Ain't that the same story but that Azriel running with? Forced her to wear makeup to cover her bruises. Where have we heard that before? Remain silent about it. Where have we heard that before? Stay in her hotel room. Where have we heard that before? That came from Faith, right? Not speak to her family. That came from the savages, right? She was scared. They hired attorney Susan Logans. Stop. So you mean to tell me Precious and them go from being scared to hiring an attorney, but not calling the police? Wow. I'm just trying to figure something out. So they hired attorney Susan Logans, sued Robert a few weeks prior to his Africa date as opener of the World Cup. He called me in, put fear in me, told me that I needed to pick a team. Wow. He said that people got killed for being involved in this kind of thing. Wait a minute. Time out. This is Cheryl Mack talking. So why in New York they tried to use this with Azriel, and they tried to reference Lisa Van Allen. In Chicago, why did they try to use this for Lisa Van Allen? I'm just saying. She said, I feared for my life. Wow. Robert had people around him that he threatened to handle me if this got out of hand. He forced me to visit his attorney, Ed Jensen, where he prepared Jensen. Ed was already prepared for my arrival. He had a series of questions. For every question, Ed prepared me for a shakedown and other legal scare tactics that I didn't know. Wait a minute. Lisa Van Allen said this exact same thing, word for word. Oh my God. You know what? I was more afraid for my reputation in the industry and how things were playing out. Precious won her lawsuit against Robert, and the case is sealed. The case was based on sex with an underage minor, but Precious wasn't a minor, nor was she underage. So how was it based on that? There's video footage on file of Robert's multiple entrances into Precious' hotel room, collections of Robert's fingerprints and semen from her undergarments. But didn't they say that? Hold on. Why would Robert's semen be in her undergarments? And bed sheets all collected and used in support of the case. Well, if this case was sealed, how do you know that? Wow. Robert continued his life with Monica, and she lives as one of Robert's main girls. I recently moved all of Monica's belongings from a condo at Buckhead Grand here in Atlanta that was in my name to a new guest house in Duluth, Georgia. In 2013, 2014, Robert asked me to locate Precious, and I did. Time out. So if Robert was this monster and Robert did all this stuff to Precious and Precious sued Robert, why would you locate somebody for him that did all this stuff to him? Not unless this stuff was made up. Then you said he offered her a visit to Atlanta. She accepted. What? So she accepted. Hold the hell up. Hold up. Nope. This ain't right. So after she did all that to him, he wanted to locate her and she accepted. Then you said you arranged a visit and they picked up where they left off. Precious revealed at that time that she was still in love with Robert, and her life was so damaged that she didn't even know how to function with other men after being in that scary relationship with him. So if you're in a scary relationship and you had other men, how's you going back to Robert? Man. I made the contact with Precious for Robert because I was afraid not to. He would have forced her to take her clothes off after he completely undressed in front of me and forced her to have sex with him, with me sitting there while she cried doing so. Huh? He appeared happy and smoked a cigar afterwards. Told her that if she wanted to be an artist, that she had to learn how to be free and not so timid. She was humiliated and ultimately realized that he hadn't changed. She told me later that he continued to hit her and yell and force her to do things sexually that she would never do, like finger him anally. Stop. This was the same shit that Geronda said. So let me find out Cheryl Mack is delegating stories to people. And finger him anally and speak on her finger as a penis and ask him if he liked it. She said that was his most satisfying moments with her sexually. Wow. Wow. In November 2013, after Robert decided to make Atlanta a second home, I began to work with both he and Divine on their joint venture of businesses. The goal was several companies that included a record label. Robert and Divine agreed on company splits and things were in motion. I had no clue initially that Robert's plan was skewed. He told me on a Sprinter ride that Divine had what he wanted, charisma. What? And that was something that he didn't possess naturally. He then began his Atlanta mission. He needed an attorney to draft the documents for the business, and he specifically wanted a Chicago lawyer. I scouted a few, and after a recommendation from his A&R rep at Sony RCA, Wayne Williams, Linda Minch was the candidate hired for the job. I reached out to Linda personally, set up an appointment in LA, and after meeting with her, I scheduled a meeting with Robert. We all sat down. He liked what he heard, and we ultimately hired Linda on the spot. Robert introduced me to Linda. Hold on. You reached out to Linda personally, set up an appointment in LA, and after meeting with her, so that means you met Linda in LA. Then you said you scheduled a meeting with Robert. Then you said y'all all sat down. You, Linda, and Robert sat down. He liked what he heard, and we ultimately hired Linda on the spot. So you and Robert hired Linda on the spot. Then you said Robert introduced me to Linda as a long-term assistant and advised her to do everything through me. Stop. One thing for sure, two things for certain. A lawyer is not going to deal with you without knowing your role to the person they supposed to be representing. So why would Robert have to introduce you if you already reached out to her? But the first thing they're going to ask you, Cheryl Mack, is what is your representation to Robert Sylvester Kelly? So then you said, I spent months ramping Linda on the various processes and procedures of the Kelly business. I spent countless hours during the day working alongside Linda, phasing her in, while phasing out Gerald Blackie Jones and Daryl McDavid. So you phased out Blackie and you phased out Daryl McDavid. Then you said, then you titled them former business managers. So if that's the case, why wasn't Blackie ever brought up in the trials? If they were business managers, why wasn't Blackie brought up in the trials? Then you said Linda never wanted to get involved with Robert's personal business, but there was no way around it. She knew of his past and always suggested to me that he should find a comparable mate. Linda and I needed help as the business was starting to grow. Ami named the company, hired Linda, hired a bookkeeper, a friend of Linda's, hired a stylist, a friend of mine. Robert ultimately played all of us against each other, Divine included, in order to justify not paying any of us except Linda. Linda ultimately paid herself, and it was during a show. It was during a show date in Connecticut that everything took a turn for the worse. Robert would ask me to bring in Joycelyn Savage, Azriel Clary, Christy Lee, and have them all stay on the casino property and take turns coming to the shows. At the final show, Robert asked me to get Azriel to him from the front of the stage to his dressing room. I escorted her back and left the room. He yelled for me an hour later as if something was wrong. I walked into the room and sat next to them both. He was laying on a huge ottoman, and she was sitting next to him. We were discussing the show, and moments later, she leaned over and started giving him oral sex in front of me. It was disgusting. She's only 17. It was in that moment that I made a conscious decision to end this role. Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me after pressure sex, allegedly, after threatening your life, allegedly, after not paying you for 5 years, allegedly, after stealing not one but two of your artists and doing crazy things with them, allegedly, after making your friends feel uncomfortable and your cousin feel uncomfortable, allegedly, none of them deterred you, but seeing somebody give him oral sex deterred you. Something ain't right. Not unless you couldn't handle the fact that Rob didn't want to deal with you like that anymore, and somebody younger took your place. Then she said it didn't feel right hearing him moan to the enjoyment of a child giving him oral sex. She's not a child no more. 17 is the federal legal age of consent. That's not a child. So then she said he would always have her in a room straddling him in front of everybody. He thought it was sexy to do that. Now watch this. Everybody that you heard testify say Robert's sex life is private, right? So why Cheryl Mack is saying something different? If Robert's sex life is private, which it really is, where's this coming from? This is the blueprint to surviving R. Kelly. This is the blueprint to, if Robert can't do what I want him to do, as far as making sure my son is a star, I'll make sure everything he touches is gone. Watch this. I was harassed later by Junebug, Linda, Joan, and the new tour manager, KG. They found issues with everything that I did after I had them ramped and comfortable in their seats. Stop. But I thought you left. I was the biggest threat to everyone because I 100% had Robert's entire life in my hands. Even Robert thought that was too much control. They started playing alongside Robert with being rude. He did so much of the playing everyone against each other that he forgot that I had 4 condos in my name for him and his guests for the first year. I put 2 houses and every single utility in my name for him. These things went unnoticed, but still remained open items during the time that he wasn't paying me because he felt like A, I was being paid too much, and B, because Linda and the bookkeeper Joan convinced him that I was improperly handling show dates and not negotiating bonuses. So money was being left on the table. I don't know about y'all, but all of this is over money to me. Linda, Joan, and KG somehow figured out how to convince Robert that Divine and I no longer made sense. So they defamed our names, and Robert cut my salary, made me pay for Linda's mistakes, and ultimately played me against one of his friends who booked club dates for him. This guy, Reese McKinney, would pay me out of his commission from events for helping him on his side of the businesses. Robert saw that as double dipping. The $200 or $300 here and there just somehow didn't sit well with him. He was then convinced that I was showing favoritism to some of the agents after I delivered on his requests to close the dates for his friends. that brought in an excess of 1.3 million in show dates. Robert has a strong pattern of creating fear to not pay his debt to anyone. I would always get his approval on extremely costly flights and upscale hotels, but push back when I would ask for my own pay. All while I was renting condos, homes, and covering utilities all in my name. I was disparaged by Linda, Joan, and KG. Robert ultimately lowered my responsibilities to focusing only on his guests and the homes, and it was grueling. Wow. Wow. So the question, you know what? Y'all go ahead and hit the link up top. Y'all go and hit the link. Let's talk about this thing. Let's talk about it. What's good, Angie? What's good with it? Happy New Year. Back to the back I go. Yeah. So everybody hit the link. Let's talk about it. I mean, hey, if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. If not, I'm going to go ahead and close the show. I want to talk about this. Where Levi? Hold on. Oh, I don't think I should have did it on this day then. Because everybody busy. Come on. I don't care if you man, woman, boy. Well, no, boy, you ain't gonna stand it. I mean, hit the link. I want to talk about this. I really want to talk about this because this is crazy. And it has something to do with somebody that he trusted. Angie in the house. Happy New Year. Damn, people scared to hit my link? What's going on? Now, I bet if I was up here talking about some crazy stuff, everybody be trying to hit the link. So, man. Well, tell me if you need any. Okay. Cool. Okay. Hey, how you doing? Okay. Jeff said, toss me the phone number. Okay. There go right there. That's the calling number, y'all. I seen it. We're taking it back to the good old days in the beginning. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I'm just saying. Jeff Taylor. I'm nowhere quiet. And if you want to come on a panel, you just look above the chat box. It's pinned up there. And the link is pinned right there, you know. Jeff.
Yo, what up, bro?
What's good, bro?
Man, what's poppin'? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too, bro. It's been a minute, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a minute, man. You know, and I just want to make my rounds around the tube. I've been tuned out for a while, but so I wanted to make my rounds and wish everybody a happy New Year. And man, say, man, hey, nigga, we made it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Another year.
Definitely, we made it, bro.
Yeah. So, man, I had to get my son situated with, you know, dinner and everything like that. So I was listening and then I wasn't. Right. So I noticed that when I came in on the last part, you were talking about Cheryl Mack and kind of like the, you know, the betrayal thing with, you know, people that he trusted that was in his camp that may have worked for him or things of that nature, you know. I think that is really interesting to see and witness, you know, all of these people conveniently just come with a different narrative after years of work. It's like, if all of this was going on, one question that I would have is, why didn't you say something sooner?
Right.
Why would you? Because and also to not say something would make you complicit. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it just doesn't make any sense, you know. And when you look at the charges and you see how the coercion from the government, you know what I'm saying? It's interesting. But I'll yield back on that.
No, you're actually telling the truth. You're telling the truth, and to see that every narrative that each one of them people had, and surviving R. Kelly, and at the trial, came from Cheryl Mack.
Yeah, and also I noticed we used to say that a lot back in the day with you know, the book that Demetrius wrote and the book that the other young lady wrote. It's like the one that Demetrius wrote set the narrative for the New York trial, and the one that the young lady wrote, Ms. Jones, set the narrative for the Illinois Chicago trial, you know.
And then the memoir that I just read by Cheryl Mack, that had the missing pieces for New York and Chicago.
Exactly. So, you know, they're getting their narratives from books and television shows and documentaries, you know, and then you have Kim Fox come out the woodwork and say, oh, I watched it. I want to bring forth charges. And then she goes ahead in Cook County, and those charges were weak. So, you know, the man got on bond, and, you know, when he got out on bond, they were like, okay, we saw this play out before 2008. He's going to make some albums. He's going to generate some more money. So we saw what happened. So let's elevate this thing to a federal level. And then here comes New York with these charges. You know, that was quite interesting. Now, Kim Fox soliciting victims on national television, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that's a major infraction. You know, when the man he didn't have any charges over 50 states, but to solicit victims, please come forward. Okay, now everyone comes forward that was a part of this documentary, and consequently, all of them were being represented at the time by Michael Avenatti. You know what I'm saying? So then you got Michael Avenatti. He's running around major networks with this videotape, and he's disseminating it on television to networks. That's another major infraction. You know what I'm saying? So it was just crazy. I've been crazy 4 years to watch this unfold. You know,
and then on top of that, and the cliffhanger that we all learned is that Michael Avenatti has been Chuck Freeman's lawyer for years. So wait a minute. If Chuck Freeman got the tape from Lisa Van Allen, right? Who knows what Chuck Freeman did with that tape?
Exactly.
Matter of fact, who knows what Michael Avenatti did with the tape? But the whole thing in Chicago State, it was never meant to bring charges on Robert. It was to trigger the feds. See, the way that worked is they got a buddy system. If the state feel as though something's going on and somebody in the state, the state prosecutor have an inside track to somebody in the feds, they can bring initial charges on somebody and then delegate it to the feds and still hold their charges and then come back and determine if they want to prosecute or not prosecute. And that's what we're looking at right now.
Wow. Yeah. Great point. You know, it's just, you know, that was just like a friend of a friend, know somebody, knows somebody. It's all of who you know. Right. And to watch this due process be compromised right before us and just see it unfold. And, you know, and I should tell people in the beginning, like, you know, like, man, even if you think the man may have been guilty of something, it's all about the way they went about it. That you should, you know, have more of an outrage to. But see, they know trigger words, things that they study our culture. They know that our culture has been victimized by certain, you know, trigger words, you know, rape culture. When you say certain things, people instantly get emotionally tied to it and they just ignore, you know, the obvious. That's why when Kills was on Bill King, he was like, use your common sense. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to really use your common sense to overlook a lot of this propaganda. Because when you look at the television showcase that they did, the mockumentary, it's like you listen to what the young ladies are saying, and there's nothing really devastating, but they have the theatrics in the background, the music, the dun 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 dun, you know. You know what I'm saying? They have all this craziness going on in the background. You're like, oh my God, he walked in the room and he said hello. It's like they didn't really say nothing. But then, you know, that's all about a propaganda and false narratives, and people are being a victim of mind manipulation through social programming, you know what I'm saying, through the television, you know, and I know they're coming out with another one tomorrow, so Lord have mercy.
I don't know what this new one is about, but from the promo that I seen, they trying to say that Robert is running an enterprise and they using the crazy people that I've been told people to stay away from to solidify it.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, to me, that's a reach. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hear what you're saying, but to me, it seems like a sign of desperation to me if they have to go that direction. People that do not know Kels personally, you know, just like with any other celebrity, you know, they have their fans and supporters, and sometimes those fans and supporters, you know, they go a little above and beyond, but they don't. That doesn't have to affect that. It shouldn't affect that person's case. And I feel the same way with Kels. You know what I'm saying? If someone does something that's a fan that has no connection to him, or even somebody that may know him, if he didn't have anything to do with it, he shouldn't be held accountable for it.
Watch this. I totally agree. And I totally agree about the reach. But watch this. When it's a reach, let it be a reach for the government. Don't aid them in their reach. You on camera saying you calling Joycelyn and her parents who are fed play with us. You telling them you'll never see your daughter again. And then that plays into the hands of, well, she say she know Joycelyn. She say she, know R. Kelly. She is at the court for R. Kelly. She on live talking about she do this and do this for R. Kelly. She also on live talking about, playing a recorded phone conversation with her and R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, even though he don't know you, you're setting the stage like he know you. You're even jumping in camera shots because you want to get to eat with Joycelyn and Azriel. Yo.
Yeah, people got to be very careful about certain situations because, you know, when you got certain people that set in place to trip you up and make and spin narratives and overreach and do that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So I just encourage everybody to, because when you got someone like Mr. Savage and them running around and they got their camera open, they looking for anything they can use. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I do not listen. I made one mistake when it came to them Savages, bro. And I really was on my way to their house, bro. And it took somebody who don't even rock with R. Kelly to place a call like, nigga, turn around, yo. They gonna lock you up, yo. You going to jail.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for the diversions because it could have been another way.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all could have been hearing from me from a jail cell right now.
Yeah, it's that deep, you know, because they looking for something, anything that they can use, and you know, if you're not paying attention, you know, I just hope that works out, and Kels is okay, the young lady is okay, even the Savages, it's gone, you know. I hope that they find a way to whatever they need to do with their daughter so they can stay off social media. Because my thing is this with them: if you have not talked to your child, you know what I'm saying. Because none of this is good for Kels, and that's the main thing. But if you have not talked to your daughter, you know what I'm saying, why go to social media? Why go to, if you think something is wrong or somebody's doing something to your daughter, why don't go straight to the police? And I heard the man sit up there and say, well, she goes at this particular time, every day, at this particular location to wave at this man. So you know where she's at. Just show up. You know?
Evidently, something that he said ain't true.
Yeah, evidently. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, and you have daughters, you know what I'm saying? If your daughter, you ain't spoke to her and you know where she's at,
I'm going to get her. I'm going to get her.
Yeah, it's nothing, no one gonna be able to stop me from getting to my child. You know what I'm saying? So he can cut it out with that.
Right. I'm willing to make a fool out of myself that day.
Exactly.
Because if I go through the ringers and I physically see my daughter there and she say, well, Dad, well, you know, I'm not talking to you, I will respect that. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Absolutely.
fine now. Because I got to see her. She physically fine and she grown and she making stuff on her own. When she ready to talk to me, she'll holler at me. I just pray nothing happened to her. At that point, if I'm legally able to walk away, I'm gonna walk away. I'm still gonna pray for my daughter, but as long as I see that she's okay, I'm good.
Yeah, definitely. That's it. That's all. That's all you can ask for. You know, especially at that age. She's almost 30. My advice would be this, because I know I'm in my 40s, and if I had a parent that I haven't speak to, but they all in the media slandering me and I mean, if you really want to have a relationship, just fall back. You know what I'm saying? And eventually they'll come around. You know what I'm saying? But if you stay in the media, it's keeping that wall up. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, because I would love for them to have a relationship with their child. You know what I'm saying? Anybody. So anybody that's, you know, but that's her decision at this point. The man's been incarcerated for 4 years. You can't blame him. You know what I'm saying? So
at this point, after being incarcerated for 4 years, right? Tim Savage and Jonathan Savage have to look back and say, what did they do to cause this? Because now it's not nothing that Robert did. It have to be what y'all did. But in order for y'all to keep the heat off yourself and to face the music, y'all are willing to say, well, Robert got her enabled by somebody. And then the far reach is, I wonder if my daughter's dead. Why would your daughter be dead? First thing. Second thing is, why would that be the first thing that come to your mind?
Yeah. That's kind of weird. Like, why would you even insinuate something like that? Like,
I'm gonna tell you why. Because that would get the government to move quicker. If they can, if the government is led to believe that it's a dead person involved with somebody that's been locked up, do you know what more charges can be brought? They can open up a whole nother case on R. Kelly and behind that alone.
Wow, that's insane. But you're absolutely right. That makes perfect sense. Right. You know what I'm saying? To the untrained. The mind they make, I ain't gonna say untrained, but just overlooking that's deep, man. They crafty, man. That's what I say, man. You gotta be careful when you not only in person, but just on these social media. You know, these people just trying to find ways to spin narratives and they scarred. They emotionally drained, and hey, they'll do anything or say anything. You know what I'm saying? So to put that out there, knowing this young lady, now in one breath, you tripping yourself up though, brother, because in one breath you say your daughter is, you don't know where she's at, but in the next breath you giving a detailed location of where she's at and the time. So, you know, it's crazy, man. But I'm gonna say this, and I appreciate you having me in, bro. I'm gonna get on up out of here.
No problem. Anytime, bro.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, man, Happy New Year to everybody, man. Y'all stay safe, stay blessed, and man, free chaos to this backwards, bro.
You already know, man. And anytime I'm live, you want to jump on, bro.
Okay, for sure. Y'all be blessed.
All right, you too. All right. That's Jeff. That's Big Taylor. Anybody else want to call in? Anybody else want to come on live? I mean, where's Skylife at? Where's Skylife at? If you want to jump on, call in 404-914-7986. Come on, call in. Or you can hit the link. That's at the top of the chat box. Nah, man, I ain't gonna hold up here too much longer. Shoot, my 49ers playing. Yeah, definitely salute to Jeff Taylor. Where's Sky Zone? Where's Sky Zone? Where's Sky Life? Where both of them at? Who is?
Hey, Dana. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be live. I got one strike, Dad. Dad. But how you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, about R. Kelly. I like his music and all, but you and I are not in that courtroom every day. So he'll be sentenced in February, but I hope he I pray that he gets what he needs, but it seems like an uphill battle to me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's like a real uphill battle, but ultimately, I wish the judge would say I'm not giving him nothing because this is a setup, but we know that's not going to happen.
I know it's not, but the judge has to be swayed by what the jury gave him. And the only way he's going to get is the Supreme Court or the right now the Supreme Court is messed up. Okay, I'm telling you, the Supreme Court is messed up, as y'all know. They
Oh,
got a lot of cases. The Supreme Court does.
now the Supreme Court is good.
Yeah, but I always say the Supreme Court should be a term limit job.
Say what? It should be what?
I said the Supreme Court should be like with the presidency and every other thing, a term limit job, not a lifetime position.
Why?
It just should be like if you're in the Supreme Court, it should be 8 years or something like that. Same thing with every representative that's in the Senate. Right here in Jersey, we have term limits here. I don't think the Supreme Court should be a lifetime job, but it ain't going to change none.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I think because it's always a people that make the decisions that seem not to be right for everybody, and you have to agree with the other judges. I just feel that the Supreme Court should be a term limit job because I just think the justice system is really not working out for what I think it is.
But
You
I'm
know
gonna say,
what?
but I'm gonna say this. I disagree with you on that, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because but in order to become a Supreme Court judge, you have to submit your paperwork 2 years in advance, right? And they got to do all this background. Second thing is this.
I have a learning disability, so don't mind me.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, okay.
So the thing is, the Supreme Court judges, they're not there to be friends with each other. They're there and to give opinions, and their opinions and become fact and law. A lot of people don't like the Supreme Court because they're used to this Caucasian conclusiveness.
Yeah, that's what you know what Supreme Court always makes these decisions, especially when it comes to the abortion issue that seems to be a hot topic these days, and LGBTQ rights and all that. But I'm just saying, just from my perspective, I know it'll never happen there, Dana. I know it'll never happen to be a term limit job, but I just figure it's stuff that's really got to change in the government, you know?
Listen. Tuesday on Rumble. Come holler at me on Rumble because I'm gonna talk about that, and I'm gonna talk about exactly what's really going on, and I'm gonna be honest with you. It's certain stuff that YouTube won't let you say.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. I'll try to be there if I can. If I'm not, I'll listen. But I just wanted to say about as far as R. Kelly goes, I just wish he have good luck. But the lawyers and the judges are gonna fight tooth and nail, and they're gonna say what's interested, and the judge is gonna fight what the law says. Sometimes they have sentencing guidelines. It may help him if they have sentencing guidelines. They go by we have sentencing guidelines here in this country, and right now, I wish him good luck in February. That's all.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, thank you for coming by my show. I have one strike, but I'll be live again.
Anytime.
And,
strike.
Music and stuff, like one music that was on my Google Home, I guess. And I got hit on Thursday. Should it be Thursday, Friday? I should be live by Wednesday. Am I figuring that right or no?
So did you appeal it?
I tried to, but I have to be live by 7. I don't know really how to appeal it. See, I'm just new at this sort of thing.
What happened was and you played somebody's music and they requested you to take it down.
They didn't. They just interrupted the stream.
Oh, they interrupted the stream?
Yeah.
But that's not a
And
strike.
then they said, and then I guess it came back on, and then they started heard the music. Then they said they took it out, and it gave me 1 strike. So I'll just wait till Wednesday when I go back, I guess.
Listen, go back on your platform and look in your community, and it'll tell you what's going on. 9 times out of 10, you don't have a strike.
Oh well, no, I'll check it out then.
Okay.
Yeah, if I don't see it, then I don't see it. Then I
Okay.
think I checked it out, and I don't really see anything. It's just on my Gmail.
Yeah.
That, I have a Gmail. They told me I'll be off for 1 week, which I got hit Thursday. So I've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 7 days.
No. Their 7 days is 8 days.
Oh, 8.
If you got hit on Thursday, you ain't gonna be able to go live until the following Thursday at that time that you got hit last.
This Thursday coming.
Right.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's fine by me. That's fine. So I'll be live this Thursday coming.
Okay. So
okay, I could understand that. Yeah. And then they finally caught the people who killed those 4 Idaho students, and the guy, was all the way from Pennsylvania. He's a criminology major. But I just like to see. I wish R. Kelly luck. But we're not in that courtroom. We're not in that jury box. They pick the jurors. They pick who's the best jurors, and that's the only thing. That's the problem with the judicial system. They pick the jurors, and they get you can have the best lawyers you want. But once they go in the jury room, the jurors will say, "I don't want to convict them. I don't want to convict them," and it comes down split, and it always ends up in a mistrial. That's how our judicial system is messed up, Dana. It always been since the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. So, you know what? Our judicial system is not the best in the world. It always needs a lot of tinkering and But what do I know? I'm not that smart. But like I said, the justice system usually be justice for some people and justice for not so many people, and that includes us.
I got you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much, dear Dana, and hope to see you by my show.
Of course, I come through.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I just say, you know what? It all depends who you pick as jurors. That's the only thing. That's the only problem. You can pick the best juror in the world, and when they go in that room, they'll change their mind or say something to somebody. Say, "Why are you voting for this?" Right. You look at the evidence. They'll give you all the lawyers and the defense will give you all the evidence. And when the jury goes into that jury room, look at all that evidence. They're gonna say, yeah.
Right.
So unless you're a juror and you're gonna have an impartial jury, there's no such thing as an impartial jury.
Right.
I don't think professional juries. You want a professional jury? Get good professionals. But sometimes professionals will say the same doggone thing. And that's messed up.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know what? Unless you have one single judge, if you have a judge trial, you're probably better off with just one judge deciding the whole case. That's probably what should have happened with R. Kelly. One judge handling the whole case. But That's
kind of dangerous.
Yeah. Well, unless you have, a real good common sense people, which people have seemed to have lost nowadays. So, that's my opinion about that. So whatever.
Okay.
Hey, have a good 2023, man.
All right. Same thing to you.
Okay. Peach and Saul, y'all.
All right. Anybody else want to call in? Anybody else want to hit the link? You're live on the Dana J show. I can help you.
Hey Dana. Hey Dream Team.
Hey.
Just feeling fine. I had to call.
What's going on? Feeling fine.
Not a thing. Listen, I've been watching this for so long. Since I guess it's been about 3.5 years. And I've never had an opinion. Of course, I love R. Kelly's music. But when I heard this second documentary was coming out, I said, well, this part 2, I guess is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I said, they're trying to kill this man. They've already done everything that they could do. They've made the decisions that they've made. It's just something ain't right. And somebody need to do something about it. I'm about to put my boots on now.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. So, question, what you think about the memoir that I read by Cheryl Mack?
I came in on the last part of it, so I didn't get to, hear it in this entirety.
Mm-hmm.
However, it just feels like she's just out to get what she can at the end of the day.
But all the narratives from surviving R. Kelly and the court cases came from Cheryl Mack. So I'm trying to figure out how can she delegate who says what and who does what. And by me reading that, pretty much that just kills the character of people saying, oh, Robert did this to this one, and can I believe her? But wait, Cheryl Mack just gave you the whole memoir. And one thing I've learned in this thing called life is that I can date 1 million women, but I will never treat every last one of them the same way.
Right, and she's been there, Dana, and that's the thing. She has been there. Mm-hmm. So people are going to take her word as, what she says. She can twist and change it how she wants, but at the end of the day, she's more acceptable to believe than anybody else because of the time she spent with him.
And the same thing that the mother folks try to do to me.
That's true. I see that. That'd be shits and giggles. They just be bothering you. They want you.
Look, I don't want them. You know what I mean? I don't want them, especially that one lady that bought a train track park wigs. Man, I just wish she just going about her business, man. Like, damn, like, yo, I don't like you. I don't talk to you. I don't talk about you. I don't discuss you. But you live and breathe Dana J. Why?
Yeah, but I get confused with names. You have to say their name, or
I'm talking about one stink puss.
Oh Lord, I don't want to talk about that man. I ain't going in on them people. I like everybody because I like to laugh. That's why I put the little funny stuff in there and get the hell on. But it seems like most of them that bother you want you. And want your attention. If not you, personally, they just want your attention. You're a likable person. Between you and Larry, you guys are the only two I really watch.
But what's so like? It's okay to like somebody, but when you get likable to stalking, that's dangerous.
It may be your personality. It may be your character. For me, your character is just outgoing, and some people don't have that in their real life, so they look to YouTube for the outgoing character. I think I heard one papoose say today that, she just watched you to laugh. So that right there tells you that it's something about your character that attracts people to you. So you can't do nothing but accept that.
Yeah, because then I was listening to her today talking about some, he don't want people to share his stuff. No, it's not that I don't want people to share my stuff. I don't want y'all sharing my stuff because y'all twist what I say. If you're going to share it the way it is. Don't put your twist on what I say.
Oh, you already know that's going to happen. She funny too in her own little way. But I just told you what the problem was. It's something about your aura, your character, your vibe that they like, that intrigues them. So they're going to come see and bother you. You know how in school people just bother people when they really attracted to them in some kind of form. It starts as a kid. Some people don't ever come out of some people's character. They just still gonna do the same thing. If I bother them enough, maybe that'll attract them to me. Not just for lovers, but just friendship. So take that and go with that. That's the positive side of it. Well, I'm gonna get off here, but I just wanted to say they need to let that man go. It's been too long. He sound depressed. Man, they're gonna end up making him kill himself or just pass away in his sleep, because that's too much for one person to bear, whether he guilty or innocent. Right. Come on now, don't beat me when I'm down.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So y'all have a happy New Year.
And you too.
And I'll call back in another time.
Okay, thanks, feeling fine.
All right.
All right,
bye, Dream Team. Bye, Dana.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Huh? Okay. Look. Well, anybody else want to call in? Guess not. I mean, Chris said he's strong. You've been through the storm before. Facts. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Georgia girl. Go like, share, subscribe her page, share out. Don't forget Chris Terry. I'm going to be doing a lot of sharing today as I watch my 49ers do what they do. So, y'all be blessed. I'm about to get up out of here. We talked about it today. Tomorrow, we're going to pick up on some more stuff that's going on, and we're going to discuss it. If y'all scared to call in, I'm going to take away the call-in feature. If y'all scared to hit the link, I'm going to take away the hit the link feature. So we all just going to do this together, okay? All right? Love every last one of y'all. I'm up out of here. Y'all be blessed. Dana J gone.
Swimming in you. Hey, little mama. Said I want to take her. Dipping your pool. Just going for a little dive, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait a minute. It's your boy. January. Hey. Money coming through, back up. Money coming through, back up. Money coming through, back up. Money coming through. See them two chicks, call that a double up. See that black range, call that an armor truck. Move them ropes, bitch, this ain't double dutch. 20 years career money, y'all niggas knocking up. Pop champagne, call that a bubble up. Chicks came back, but I ain't trying to cuddle up. 31 flavors, talking about the cars, now garage like a rainbow. Like the juice in my cup. But I ain't trying to brag though, haters move too slow. Y'all better step it up. If you that shit up in this club like I am in this club, then throw your middle fingers up. All stars, try to set the bar. You know who we are. So back up. Money coming through, back up. Back up. Money coming through, back up. Back up. Money coming through, back up.
Hey, look, money in the bag, call that a robbery. Shorty seen the ass, now they wanna swallow me. Mag Mouse swag, you hoes at the Dollar Tree. They wonder where I'm at, but you hoes better follow me. Gone in the brain, need a lobotomy. Keep that thing clean on the side of me. Diamonds in my chain, think I won the lottery. Haters wanna hate, but they don't even bother me. Wait, it's money in the building. Cash so long, I can stack it to the ceiling. You ain't making meals, then you ain't even appealing. Why my nigga Kale's gon' tell him how we feeling?
All stars, try to set the bar. So wait up. Back up. Money coming through. Back up. Money coming through. Back up. Money coming through. Back up. Money coming through.